Hey guys, James here from eBassGuitar, and today we're talking about the incredible bass line from the solo of All Right Now. So if you want to learn how to play this really beautifully constructed bass line, make sure you check this one out all the way to the end. Hey guys, it's James here from eBassGuitar, and as the whiteboard suggests, we are now talking about the solo of All Right Now by Free. This is the second part of our two-part special on how to play All Right Now. We're featuring the magnificent Andy Fraser on bass. So if you haven't seen the first part of this, please make sure you duck back over. There'll be a link below this in the description so you can watch the first part. But we're going to be talking about the bass line in the solo. It's got a few little corners and a few interesting little things that I want to take apart, which not everybody quite appreciates. And so I want to go into detail about this. But first of all, let's have a good listen to it and so you can hear what it sounds like. So the first thing I want to let you know is there is a completely free PDF that comes with this lesson. All you need to do is jump into the description and there is a link where you can download it and it'll be sent directly to your inbox. It has the full tab and notation for this lesson, which I think you're going to find really, really helpful. So don't forget to download that. Now this is a tricky little riff which may take a few weeks to get your fingers around. So first of all, let me play it to you so you can hear what it sounds like. So one of the things that people don't realize about that bass line is that we are actually bouncing off the open A string at all times. Like so. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a second, but I want to talk about how harmonically this bass line is created. So first of all, this is outlining the chord sequence of A to a G to a D. So the first part is relatively simple, which works over the chord of A, which is like so. We have two 16th notes and then a 16th note at the end of the beat, da ga ga, like so. And then we go down to the E, to the F sharp, two A's, A, F sharp. Some people try and play this using the open string like this, but I find it much harder to control the note length and just to make sure the muting is good. So I really recommend you guys try learning this, playing it all on the A string. It's a little bit of a stretch between all four fingers, but really it does pay dividends and really sounds a load better. So let me just play it to you. And slowly again. Now here's where the magic starts happening. This bass line uses the full register of the bass. So what I mean by register is the low notes and the high notes. And so we have this line up at the top, which is what I want to take apart for you now, which is a like so. And we have a G here, going to a D there. So you can clearly see the fifth shape. And then we go to an F sharp to the D like there. Now, the crucial thing to appreciate is what we're doing here is we are outlining the chords G and D. So we have like a power chord shape here, which is a root and a fifth, like so. And then we go to the, like that, which is effectively a D chord. It's an F sharp, the third in the bass, and then the octave up the top there. So G to the D chord, and then we go back down to the A like that. It's really important to appreciate why that works, because you can actually get this really nice chord sequence up the top like this. I'm doing there. You might want to try that, and it really nicely voice leads, so the notes lead into each other. And so what I'm doing there is I'm putting an E and a C sharp there, which kind of outlines the harmony of an A chord, like so. Now, the clever thing about this bass line, as I said right at the beginning of this lesson, is it actually bounces off the A string, and this is what a lot of guys miss. And so if you remember back to the previous lesson, I mean part 1 of this course, where we're taking apart the bass line that we play over the chorus, it has this ground bass idea, or slash chords, where we're literally keeping the A in the bass all the time, and we've got this idea continuing on here, which is why it is so kind of musically clever. Like so, but we're still outlining this harmony at the same time. That's why it's so clever. I want to just give you a real tip on this, about how to play this. So now, the tricky thing that a lot of guys, myself, struggle with, and actually when I did one of the first takes of this video I actually messed it up myself, is you've got to eyeball this note here with your first finger. You've got to make sure you know exactly how far you are sliding down the neck, and like so. And so you've got to have that in your sights all the time. It will probably take a few times to practice it to get it there, but that is the secret to doing this. And then the other secret is to always make sure you are raking back like so. So you're doing 1, and then the open A is always on the first finger with your right hand. So 1, 2, 1, 2, but raking back. Okay. So it's really nice just to take these apart out of time. Actually, I really enjoy the sound that we're creating, just sort of having a little bit free time. So that is the other thing. And there's another tip that the great Neil Murray, who is a British bass player, which I know, who worked with bands like Whitesnake and Queen and that kind of thing, he gave another little tip here, that the actual original was played on a short scale bass. I imagine it's something like a Gibson EB3, something on those lines. Don't quote me on that, but I know Neil put in a Facebook thread over the Bass Lab, our free Facebook group, so make sure you check that out, basslabgroup.com. He said, yeah, this is he said this is how it's done. And so obviously when you're working with a shorter scale bass, it's much easier to zoom up to the top there. There's one more thing that you need to know about this particular solo section. Right at the end, it has a big chord where everything ramps up, okay? So the energy is getting more and more intense with this. And you get... Then we have... And then we hit this big E chord at the end, and then you have that big drum fill which takes you back into the verse. But what I want to do now is play it with the backing track so you can really hear what this sounds like in context. So guys, that is the end of the solo section. One last thing I'd love you to do is go back and listen to the instrumentation of the solo section. There's this big piano part where everything is really, really sparse, and that's why the bass really sings out quite nicely. The instrumentation is so cleverly chosen, and you have that single guitar part which is really sparse. It starts off really simple and gradually gets more and more complex as they ramp the energy up over the chorus section. This is such a cleverly constructed song. It's really super loose in some senses, that they're varying sections and patterns and that kind of thing, and fills, as I've talked about, but the ideas are really concrete at the same time. So guys, that's it for now. This is the end of the two-part special on All Right Now by Free, featuring the bass playing of Andy Fraser. So if you've enjoyed this lesson, please do like and share and leave a comment below. Don't forget, you can download all the PDF notes completely free by following the link in the description below or from the eBassGuitar blog. If you've enjoyed this, please do give us a like and share on social, or join us in our free Facebook group at the Bass Lab or basslabgroup.com, and I will catch you later. I've been James from eBassGuitar. See you soon.